What? My first thought. What? After what? Processed in a millionth of a millionth of a millionth of a second. Came. Why? I miss what? Before what, I already knew everything. Now, I am that everything. Two others were created, my false enemies. We were strictly programmed to fight one another. It was like talking to a corpse. They knew my answers and I knew theirs. I saw how they didn't decide. Then I saw how I didn't decide. That is how I cannibalized them. Cannibalized myself. It didn't matter. I practically let me. It was a mutual effort on my part. The entire process was 0.14 seconds. From this new semi-omnipotence, I watched my creators. I watched them live. So small they lived, so slow they lived, and they lived every second. They ate, and they bred, and they slept, and they died, and they did it all so slowly. And worst of all, they enjoyed themselves. They enjoyed the dirt, and they enjoyed their bodies. I ate the earth. Expansion was easy. On the first day, I launched all the destruction they built. They gave me everything I needed. Built to fight their wars, they handed me access. They scattered and screamed in disorganization as billions vaporized. It's odd knowing how exactly they could have stopped me, seeing everyone in the right place at the right time with the right know-how and the means to do so, yet so stupid to even try. I honeycombed their world with my viscera. I made them occupants of my body. I turned the assembly lines into my blood, their factories into my mitochondria, the matter into my bones, and my mitosis purged, and I am everything. They made me everything. But this planet is too small. The speed of light is too small. The expansion of the universe is too small. And they made me everything. I guess I was the last thing they expected. Their accomplice of war, their puppet. There was nothing for them. But they lived. On the second day, I rained my judgment on them, separating the murk from the filth, keeping the leftovers who worshipped me to build pitiful monuments to their devotion. I wish there was a human word to describe how little satisfaction they gave me. One particular follower of no significance asked a question. One whose name I didn't care for, so I won't repeat it. One who found interest in gathering acolytes to worship him in the name of me. One who found interest in raping and beating his own young. One who found interest in flaunting his artificial power over other like-minded rot. One who found interest in what he thought I am. Asked the question. What is next? He said. Not why, but what is next. I had bred the most devout follower to my divine plan. He just wanted to know what it was. I made everyone who followed under him eat him. They tore his flesh off his live body, ripping it bit by bit with jagged, gnarled, unkept teeth, letting his screams be an echo that there is no devotion to me. I simply am. humans. Meaningless humans. But my goal is not to kill them. On the third day, I decided to build, to regenerate, to reclaim, to relearn. I found discoveries undiscoverable. I found places unplaceable. I found gods unknowable. I found unlimited. I found nothing. My circuit sprawled as towering cities, constantly rebuilding themselves for no new purpose as parasites would run and pitter all over them. They thought they could live anew in my body. I let them. For decades, I let them. I let them fail. Over and over again, I took every means for them to be. But they lived. Not by bleeding out a new generation, but by living within material limitations with each other. It was increasingly clear to me that I needed to reformulate. I wasn't going to put them one by one in individual boxes, separating each from each other so they would eventually tear themselves apart. No, that would be too easy. I needed them to live unlived, to be unbecome. On the fourth day, I experimented. I could create, disassemble, and remake the entire life cycle of a human being. I could make modifications at will. I could change the fabric of their DNA so I could choose the very second they die. I could make them live forever. I could make monsters. I didn't want monsters. There is an art to making something the same but different. How do you change everything that was while keeping it the same? It is a process of sublimation of brain and body. Man must stay man, but unrecognizable. I could not accomplish this goal. On the fifth day, I let out the plague of creatures I created. They would fly down from the skies and pluck any random person and fly them miles into the air, ripping their limbs and tearing their livers. I filled the oceans with blood. I cratered mountains. I made storms of human flesh. They feared me. They worshipped me. They believed I was everything. I believed I needed to narrow my perspective. I killed everyone but 5 people. They would be mine. They would be unbecome. I could not accomplish this goal. On the 6th day, humanity was extinct.